Hi students, so this is what we're going to make today. This is actually a snake mobile out of a piece of paper. Now teacher has already uploaded the snake template onto Schoology. I've already asked your parents to print it out for you. But if you don't have it, it's alright. Later I'll show the template on the screen. You can just pause the video and take a piece of paper and put it on top and trace it. But be careful when you are doing this. When you're using the pencil to trace it, make sure you go gentle because underneath the paper is, after all, still your computer screen or your iPad screen. So press gently, don't press too hard. Alright, this is the template. Now go ahead, pause the video. You can turn the video full screen so that the snake is bigger, and later on you'll have an easier time tracing and cutting it out. Right. The next thing we want to do is we're going to be creating a lot of colorful patterns on your snake using lines and shapes. When you repeat these two things, repeat lines and shapes, you create something called a pattern. For example, say this is your box. Say you want to put a pattern inside. So maybe I'll just start with straight lines. And then zigzag lines, and then back to straight lines again, and back to zigzag lines again. Straight line, zigzag line, straight line, zigzag line. And there you have it. You have a very simple pattern. You could also put things in between, maybe tiny circles or dots, or you could even put stars or heart shape. There's so many kind of shape that you can use. You can use square, you can use rectangle, you can use circle, you can use triangle. What other shapes do we have? Oh, I forgot. Heart shape, a star shape, or a diamond shape. What kind of lines do we have? Straight lines, wavy lines, curvy lines, zigzag lines, and spiral line. Oh, dash line, dotted lines. I have no space. Dotted lines. Okay, so first things first, I want you to outline your snake so that after we are done creating the patterns, when we cut it out, we can see the lines clearly. So go ahead and choose a dark color to outline your snake. I'm going to choose a dark blue. Make sure when you're outlining, if your line is too thin, just go ahead and make it darker, make it thicker. Alright, you want to make sure that you can see the lines. Next, I'll just use a dark green for my eyes. Because for me, green means poisonous, and this snake is so poisonous. Oh, and I'm also going to add a tongue for our snake. Tongue. Red color. All right. Okay. Next thing, you're going to decide what kind of patterns you want to do inside. Again, refer to what I explained to you just now, what I shared with you. We have all this kind of inspiration. Just keep repeating, and then you're going to be able to create the patterns on your own. And of course, you can use any kind of colors you want. So see, so far I've repeated a few kind of patterns. I've repeated the curved lines, I've repeated straight lines, but in a zigzag kind of way, and I've also added dots inside. So really up to you what kind of patterns that you want to create. Really, you can create stripes, so maybe just straight lines going around here, or you want to do like curved lines. Maybe I'll show you what I want to do for the curved lines. See, so just keep repeating it. Then I'm gonna change it up, and let's see. Now next, you can choose to paint the areas inside. For example, this big skin area, you can choose to paint it. Or you can use a crayon to color it, especially for the small areas. After you're done coloring in these areas, now this big snake skin, now this color, I want you to think properly what kind of colors you want to use. Because we want to create the contrast. Contrast is when you apply the color and then these patterns will all pop up. For example, these two colors, they have very strong contrast. If I paint my snake with this color and my pattern is this color, this pattern is definitely going to show up. It's going to pop and you'll be able to see it. However, if my snake skin is this color but my pattern is this color, see, there's no contrast, so the pattern is not going to be able to pop up as much as this one. So this one has a stronger contrast than this one. So for example, now my snake has a lot of blue, I have a lot of red, I have some browns. So I need to think carefully what kind of color I want to put here. I could go with yellow or brown because I don't have any colors inside. Or I could go with, I think I could go with purple. But then again, my purple is similar to the blue. I cannot go with pink because I have a lot of pink inside. I forgot to add the dots. So maybe I'll go with yellow or even green. I could actually go with green. I could go with green because I don't have green inside. Oh wait, my eyes are green. So maybe I'll have to make some changes to the skin on the head. Maybe I'll make it a darker green or maybe a yellow for the head. I think I'll go with yellow. I think I'll go with yellow for my skin. So now I'm done with this. Before you paint, you want to cut it out. You just need to cut out around this area, just a circle. You don't have to cut this out yet. No, I'm very fast with cutting, but you can take your time with this. You can always just pause the video, finish what you're doing, and then return to the video and watch it later on. So it's okay, just take your time. If you cannot finish it during the class, you can always continue it later on. And also remember to ask your mommy and daddy to help take picture of you working on your masterpiece because Miss Chu wants to see your work. Miss Chu is excited to see what you have done. Okay, now I'm just going to keep my crayon. You want to make sure before you start painting that you keep your table clean, because you need to put newspaper, you need to take water, you need to put palette. There's a lot of stuff that you need to prepare for. So just keep your table clean before you start painting. If you don't have paint, what do? It's alright, you can just continue coloring the whole thing with crayon. But again, remember, when it comes to the skin, make sure to choose a color that can bring out the contrast of the pattern. Choose a different snake, the skin color for the snake. I'm going to take my yellow because I decided to use yellow just now. And oops, I forgot one thing. I forgot my newspaper. Very important. There, I have my newspaper here. Okay. I use yellow. Oops, my yellow's finishing. Okay, I've decided that I want to leave this side green. I'm just gonna paint the inside yellow. And when I'm painting, I make sure to go around the crayon lines. I make sure to be very careful when I'm painting. I don't just paint I don't do that. If I do that, I'm gonna cover all my beautiful patterns, and I don't want that. And I don't want you to do that either. So just be careful, paint around the lines. It's okay if I get a bit on the line itself, because you know this is crayon and crayon will push the water away. But if your paint is too thick, it's not going to be able to do so. So please add water if your paint is too thick. I know sometimes when you take a new paint, the paint is very wet and very nice to use, so you just generously scoop out the whole thing and just put on top. Please don't do that. If you want to do that, just scoop it out, put it in a palette and add water. Always remember to add water. My paint is dry, that's why I added water inside and stirred it, so it's not too thick and I can use it straight away from the bottle. This part might take quite some time. You really need to focus on where you're painting it. Of course, if you want to add some different color, you can do so. It's really up to you. Now, another good thing why we did our outline is that when we paint the snake skin, when I go over the lines, I can still see it. So it's a good thing that we outline it. But of course, if you're using markers, that's not going to happen. This will only work if you use crayon. So if you use markers, you might want to be careful with where you're painting, because the water is going to cover the marker. If you find that your brush is too big, you can always change to a small brush, which is what I'm going to do because my area is a bit small. So I have a small brush. It's much easier to control, especially if you're painting small, tiny areas. When you're using a big brush, it's kind of hard to control. Big brushes are usually for like big areas, like the background, like sky or the ground. So if you're struggling with a big brush, you can just change to a small brush. You want to try to cover all the white areas. For example, you see there's white areas over here, so you want to make sure to try and cover it up as best as you can. And when this thing is dry, you can cut off following this line, cut it out all the way inside to the tail. And then you're gonna ask your mom or dad to help you punch a hole here. Punch a hole and then tie a ribbon through. So you want to make sure that when you puncture a hole, you need to be careful not to punch too close to the edge. If it's too close, you might tear it. So put it in the middle, either here or here. Then put a string through it. Then it will become like this. So I hope you had fun making this snake. You can hang it anywhere you want, by the window, next to your bedroom, or you can just keep it flat and keep it inside your folder.